All right, Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show. We greatly appreciate you spending some time with us here on the program, and we take great pride in being that consumer advocate. And we have 50 different categories of great consumer advocate expert contributors here on the show. So save our hotline number and give us a call. It makes our day. It's a pleasure of our day to put you in touch with our expert contributors. All types of great attorneys, CPAs, financial advisors, yacht and boating experts. We've got private pilot experts. Lots of ways that we can help you here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. And we're going to get with Michael Johnson here in just a moment. Dennison Yachts, we're going to talk about his outdoor expo they just had right here in Tampa Bay. Some charter opportunities out of Nassau. And also Jeff Bezos, he's got a new toy, 417-foot sailing yacht. So we're going to jump into that with him. Before we do, hot listings here in Tampa Bay, featuring our listings live on air, maximizing the exposure and the profit on the sale of our real estate properties. We've got a property at 4501 Garnett Drive. 4501 Garnett Drive. This is another waterfront property from the team. This is 2,215 square feet, 2 bedrooms, 2.5 bath. You got a private community boat ramp, open floor plan, cathedral ceiling, fireplace in the great room, as well as an upstairs loft. 4501 Garnett Drive. It's on an open canal as well. You got bay access in Newport Richey. Gulf Harbors. It's a golf cart friendly community as well. Pasco County, one of our real estate listings there in beautiful Pasco County. 12290 101st Street is a large parcel of land. It's very rare to have 10 acres in Largo in Pinellas County. And we've got it right here. Beautiful property. This is almost 11 acres. Now, 4.9 are buildable, and you're on a large lake, Lake Seminole here in Tampa Bay. It's the second largest lake in all of Tampa Bay. Stunning piece of land to build on. Up to 22 single-family homes or 43 townhomes potential to be built there. 12290 101st Street in Largo. One of our hot listings from the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. You can see all of our listings online at our website, platinummvpteam.kw.com. And a quick shout out to Innovative Solar. If you're thinking about adding solar onto your property, we've got a great partner of the show. This is innovativesolarfl.com. Visit innovativesolarfl.com and make sure you let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. Take them up on those special offers. And the price of solar has actually come way down. So it's a great opportunity here to get involved in the solar industry. All right, Michael Johnson, Dennison Yachts, welcome back, sir.
Oh, I appreciate you getting excuse me, jeez. Yeah, thank you for letting me join the show again.
Absolutely, man.
We have some cool topics to talk about today.
Yeah, jump on that mic a little closer. The producer's yelling at me there. So what we want to do is let's give a little overview of your outdoor expo, that boat show. That was pretty cool. And I know you had a lot of people coming through, and great opportunity for agents and other folks looking to buy boats.
We did the outdoor expo and boat show, actually hosted by Channel 8. They had actually done the show down in downtown near the harbors, right in downtown Tampa, right off the convention center.
Yep.
And they kind of flipped it over to Armature Works. I think this is the second year they were doing it at Armature Works. Great show. They actually ended up having like 30,000 people pass through in 3 days.
Wow.
Outstanding exposure. But it's just the whole vibe around Armature Works alone is just a great spot to host something of right off the channel, and it's just everything that's going on with Armature Works, as you know, it's just it was a great opportunity. So yeah, we had a lot of people come out, but we debuted a brand new boat from Amsterdam.
Nice.
We'll try to get you some photos and see if we can get out to your listeners. But it's a really amazing boat. It's called a lekker, which in Dutch kind of means celebration or excitement, or it's very lekker is what they say. But it's a huge boat that's in Amsterdam. It's hot there. They're all over the place, but it is truly Tampa. So we ended up putting this thing like right in the middle of the show across from the bar, and we had everybody lining up to see it, and we had the cheerleaders for the Bucks on it, and it was it was a great weekend. So
that's pretty cool. Do you have any other events coming up?
Not right now. Most of the stuff we're going to actually end up doing is with the Realtor Association. We had a big meeting with them yesterday. I'm looking at mixers we're going to join, and actually docks we're thinking about, dock events we're talking about putting together in 2023,
that'd be cool.
In 2024, which could be great because we could highlight boats throughout that, and then maybe some other events we could do that have to do with boats and maybe bar hopping, so we can talk about things like
that's
that
fun.
Too. Yeah,
that's cool.
But yeah,
creative networking.
It is.
People love that.
Yeah, it is. So especially when you're on a boat, that's just how it works. So,
yeah.
So it's it makes it fun.
I like that. And then let's talk about, so you have these opportunities too. So why don't I give a quick overview though of Dennison Yachts, and what, what folks can expect. But then I want to go into like some of these different charters and ideas too that you have.
Yeah. So Dennison Yachting, we had, really expanded to the Tampa Bay area. And I mentioned in previous shows that we were really kind of working on, really building a name here. I think with Denison, it's just so well known on the type of yachts we handle, because we can handle everything from 20 footers up to 150 footers, which we're going to talk about some crazy big ones today. And that's more of our niche, but we kind of handle everything. So with what's going on with Tampa, what we're looking at with realtors is that, we talked a little bit about this. There's like 860 listings throughout the Tampa Bay area that actually have dock or marina access. And these are huge opportunities for realtors to really kind of expand the opportunities of where they can make more money, offer additional services like luxury services to their clientele. And I think this is just an open door of what's something that's never been explored before, and how realtors can actually kind of expand what they can do for their clients. And that's one of the offerings we're looking at with one of our affiliate programs, hence why we're working so closely with the Realtor Association here in Tampa.
Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah.
Smart way. So they can get involved in that industry per se is kind of a one-off and a opportunity to mention it to their clients and kind of insert that into conversations.
It is. It is. And a lot of people that are coming down here, they're coming from the north and they're buying, properties off the channels for the first time, and they've never really thought about boats, because up north you only get like 3 months out of them. So it's
right.
It's not a first thought, but once you kind of see it, you go, there might be a more opportunity to explore what we have here for the waterways. And that's what we're trying to offer to realtors. It's your client, their position of expanding services, and there are great commission opportunities here for realtors that they probably didn't even think about.
Yeah. Michael Johnson, Dennison Yachting here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes, and big charters out of Nassau. So that's pretty cool, right? I mean, you can go down, just quick trip down to Nassau, and now you can go on a cool charter and enjoy the Caribbean.
It is. There's some opportunities that are coming to Tampa, but not yet. We'll be launching that kind of stuff over the next year, hopefully 12 to 18 months. But right now, the quickest way is going on to Nassau. I mean, you got a 30-minute flight to Fort Lauderdale, and then you got to hop right into Nassau itself. They're expanding down there quickly. There seems to be some type of big push for boats out of that location, where you can explore a lot from the Azumas, the different islands, just beaches you can't get up on a giant cruise ship. They're just great opportunities going out of there, and things range from 10,000 for the day and all the way up to 30,000. It's just, but they fit 12 people, so you just got to think of it as how you're going to split it with friends.
That's cool.
But there are. So we've got some new boats we're launching there. One Spirit. It's called Spirit Luxury. Actually, it was a big charter out of New Zealand, big Power Cat. It's about a 115-footer. They were real big in New Zealand.
Nice.
Owners dragged it here. They're going to flip it into Nassau now, and it'll be out in Hurricane Hole in the coming months, which is a great opportunity for just local visitors and the tourism industry and the concierge to kind of work with that. But yeah, there's just a lot of it's all the below deck stuff is kind of kicking out of Nassau, besides the Tortolas and St. Thomas. So
yeah, that's pretty cool, man, to be able to get to. I like how because when you go on these cruise ships, these big ships, you're going to the traditional places people have seen and heard about. But to be able to jump on a smaller, more maybe a nimble ship, you're able to get into some of the other islands that might be more private, less seen by people.
It is, and it's not as more expensive than you think it is. I mean, some of these suites on some of these cruise ships do reach pretty good levels of investment. And I say investment because you're just getting a lot out of it, right?
Right.
But with these boats, these yachts that you can get into, you can get to some pretty great spots. And some of them have like real small, real shallow drafts where you can get up to some great beaches, go to some spots that you can never hit on a cruise ship.
Right.
And you ended up paying for like all this experience that you get of just great chefs. They're going to make your drinks on the board, or they're taking care of you directly. You got your stateroom. Some go from 3 days to 7 days. It just depends on what you're looking for. But there's way more to explore, I think, within the chartering industry that many haven't really looked into.
Right.
They say once you go to these private charters, you really just don't go back. It's just It's a really amazing experience.
Yeah, because if people are gonna, and it also works as a side on the sales side for your business, right? Because if you invest in a large yacht, you're able to offset some of your carrying cost by having it available for these types of charters.
Yeah, there is, and I'm not a CPA, but you could look into it. It's called Section 179 here in Florida. You essentially have a 40% write-off if you use the vessel, and that includes the purchase and everything that goes along with it. That write-off actually goes towards if you're chartering the vessel, so you're kind of using it for a business expense. So that is a huge opportunity, and most individuals down here don't even know it exists. And you could look into that as a benefit, because then we do have individuals that are like, well, I was going to buy a 20, 30 footer, but holy cow, I can afford an 80, 90 footer, and if I put it into the charter and the revenue I got coming in between the tax deductions and the operational costs, holy cow, it's about the same as a 20 footer cost. So it's really, there's open doors, and now guys are kind of looking at it in groups like, well, maybe if a few of us can go in on it. And so there's unbelievable opportunities in the charter business, especially here in Tampa, because the international, it's called IBA, International Yacht Broker Association, they are really big right now on, is there opportunities out of Tampa to bring in chartering events to, you jump on between St. Pete or downtown Tampa and you shoot down to the Keys for the weekend.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, that would be a great trip right there. Especially if you're throwing a party or, whatever. It might be a birthday celebration. You get 10 or 12 friends and you split that $10,000, $12,000 fee. It gets more affordable when you look at it that way, Michael. And, that's interesting, man. Very interesting. Michael Johnson here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, Dennison Yachting on the show, and talking about, outdoor activities. This is something fun. We live in Florida. We have, 8 to 9 months of beautiful weather. A couple months it gets a little cooler, but hey, you change that latitude to change the attitude, right? You go down a little further south, right?
Yeah, you do. It's a good way to look at it. And I don't know. We haven't talked much about where you're from, but being from Chicago, it's 3 months out of the year you get like usage, and every time you see somebody buy a boat, you're like, what are you doing?
Right, exactly.
Right. So
it's sitting up in storage for the 8 months of the year, right? 9 months.
Yeah, you do, and it's I'm learning more and more about guys I know that are now looking at coming to Florida. They just don't have to be within the buildings anymore in downtown Chicago, which is unfortunate because it's such a great city. But then they're kind of like, wait, I'm a boater. I could do this now anywhere. Maybe I'll come down to Tampa and bring my boat down. And holy cow, I just realized I could use this thing all year round.
Right.
But they also don't know the expenses kind of going up because they're like, oh, yeah, my gas is going to go up and all this. But it's a good opportunity because they get to do a lot with them.
Yeah, it is. So let's take a quick break. When we come back, I want to ask you all about Jeff Bezos' new yachting vessels. He's got a couple of vessels and some interesting content coming up here. More with Michael Johnson on the other side of this break here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Plus our feel-good story of the day. We got a college basketball star, Caitlin Clark, is a cheat code, quote-unquote cheat code in philanthropy, says Food Pantry. We'll be right back here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you've been listening to the phenomenal Brandon Rhymes, the Consumer Quarterback Show.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, owner of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, certified negotiation expert, helping you win when you're negotiating your deals. We got hot listings here, 2817 Gulf City Road, Ruskin, Florida. This is a Hillsborough County property, 23 acres on the waterfront, ready to be developed. 2817 Gulf City Road in Ruskin. Great ROI opportunity. Deep water access, Gulf access, deep water access here in Tampa Bay. 2817 Gulf City Road in Ruskin, Florida. Motivated seller and can be subdivided into multiple lots. Hot listing at 2817 Gulf City Road. Listed at $1.69 million. Great listing from the Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty. Now, we also have a property here. Let's talk about the property at Bay Gardens Loop. 11512 Bay Gardens Loop is another one of our listings here on Bay Gardens Loop. This is a property that we've got over here in Tampa Bay, Bay Gardens Loop. Beautiful property here in the marketplace. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Buy dirt, find a one you can't live without. Tell me something good.
All right, feel-good story of the day here. Iowa Hawkeyes player Caitlin Clark has taken the basketball world by storm with her incredible achievements this year. Clark's 191 total points set a new record for a player in a single NCAA tournament. That's men or women's. She became the first player in tournament history to have a 40-point triple-double. She's also doing great things off the court after legislation passed in 2021 to allow college athletes to profit off their name. Clark was approached by a local food bank bank. Coralville Community Food Pantry Executive Director John Bowler reached out to Clark through her uncle. Bowler said there were intentions to pay Clark for everything she did on behalf of the food bank, but instead she worked for free. This year, Coralville Community Food Pantry partnered with Clark again to help raise $22,000. Between March 22 and April 22, Caitlin is encouraging all basketball fans to make a $22 donation or more to help families who are facing food insecurity. The pantry wrote on their fundraiser page. And it only took a week to reach their goal. And they're referring to Caitlin now as their cheat code in basketball. And she's also a cheat code in philanthropy. And she's quoted as saying, "I think she's the greatest thing to happen to the state of Iowa in a long time." There you have it, our feel-good story of the day. And we've got Michael Johnson in studio, Dennison Yachting here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. And per the tease the last segment, Jeff Bezos, man, one of the world's richest men. I guess he's probably number 2 or 3 on the list now. I think Elon Musk is still up there at number 1, isn't he?
Oh, yeah, Elon's killing it.
Elon.
He's doing the Starlink and,
Crushing it.
Yeah, he's crushing it with Starlink.
Tesla, he's got SpaceX, and Twitter now.
And we're still, as we get into these yachts, that's the biggest talk we've got right now in regards to the Wi-Fi systems and the satellite systems. Starlink is one of the biggest ones that the marina is talking about, because they have one for RVs, but then they're coming out one for the marina.
Yeah.
There's different ones for cruise ships, and then, of course, the individual yachts. So it's really the big hot talk right now, what's going on with Starlink.
And what does Starlink allow you to do? Just gives you that virtual satellite connection where you're able to connect no matter where you're at?
Yeah, the way they're setting it up is just a consistency in connection, and then the speeds are just unbelievable. So it's easier to run multiple devices now on these boats, and it's not there's not from one system to the next jumping, and there's a lot of things that are coming along with it, but it's just more consistency is what they're seeing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You want to get a boat?
I've got my satellite phone from Satellite Phone Store, sat123.com/REQB, by the way. But yeah, I think it's a big deal to be able to have that extra added layer of communications.
Yeah, no, it is, and it's something we could kind of look into more about how they're really expanding that system. But as you get into these yachts, I mean, this thing for Jeff Bezos is just absolutely ridiculous. So there's these.
Tell me about it. 417 foot.
Yeah, you get these 417-foot sailing yachts, and it's amazing with the sailing yachts about the construction they put into the sails themselves and handling that type of weight, and then how the displacements and such that go with the sailing. And I'm more of a sailor, so I don't know if everybody's got a little bit their niches of their power sail, and when these things come out, they're just absolutely stunning. You can't land helicopters on them because there's just too much there's too much in the way, of course, with the sails. But This sucker's 417 feet sailing yacht. They're figuring it's around 485 million rolling out of the docks. And this is actually one of the largest they've manufactured out of the Netherlands. And the Dutch builds, and it's what we were kind of doing with the Amateur Work Show. These Dutch build craftsmanship is just really, in the marina, it's just really amazing what they do in regards to vessels and what they're rolling out of there.
Wow. So it's Dutch built.
This is Dutch built. Yeah, they said it's the largest come out of the Netherlands. What's really interesting, what I find, with a lot of these is that there's a support vessel that come along with these. So the 417 that they have is not the only one they got, because it's just not. It doesn't house all the toys and the helicopters and all that. So there's support vessels.
You're gonna have a companion vehicle to follow you around, right?
Yeah. So it's like where they have, some of them are open. So you'll see some of the decks are open, and they'll actually have everything from nightclubs to all different types of water toys, and they'll load them up. Sometimes they're called ghost ships, and then they'll come up next to these support systems, and they're huge. He's got a 246-foot one that's just next to this one cruising around just to support it. It's just really kind of interesting.
Wow.
But, yeah, I mean, 417, to put it kind of perspective, I mean, some of the smaller cruise ships are 500 to 600. So you're really not that shy off of those big boys.
Right, yeah, the big ones, big ships.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
They take like 3-4 years to build. So these are huge projects. It's not like building a home. They takes a lot of time. Most of these are designed up front by designers, and then they're not built. They're only built, of course, once the buyer comes along. So they'll kind of select different designers and different builders and different shipyards, who they're going to work with, and so forth. So it's kind of really interesting. When these things roll out, it's just really amazing projects.
Wow. Yeah, it's super interesting, Michael. We're talking with Michael Johnson here, Dennison Yachting on the Consumer Quarterback Show. So if folks are looking to purchase or sell or even just get an appraisal on a boat or a yacht, you're able to assist with that?
We are. We work just like real estate agents. Not many don't think of using brokers in the yachting business. Please call out to us. We can really help on both ends. If you're selling, market analysis. We go through the whole listing, where you can position your boat. There's a couple big things on how to sell a boat fast. It's really essentially why you use us. It comes along with a fee, but the holding costs sometimes are more exponential by not selling it fast enough, and by going through us, you could sell it faster, and we kind of actually really in the end save you cost. On the buying side, same thing. Most will just go right to things like Boat Trader, but with Denison, we handle every listing that's going on throughout the world, and we can find anything in Florida or throughout the country internationally. So we can really hunt down, and by using a broker, there's some huge benefits because we kind of dig into vessels. Sometimes we'll know somebody that has seen the vessel before. We know the history on them, what's the background to them, because when a buyer buys a boat, they want to know what they're getting into. It's expectation, especially used vessels. How are the engines and how the mechanics, the electronics,
right?
Is it floating okay, things like that. You just want to make sure we can protect buyers, and that's really where we step up in, is to do a diligent review before they spend any money and start flying around the country looking at boats. We really look into what they're looking for, expectations, and we really try to help them on at that level. And it's like a VIP service, and same as realtors, the buyers don't have any costs. It's always covered by the seller when they sell the boat. So,
yeah.
So
a needs and wants analysis is what we call it in real estate. Hey, these are must-haves. These would be nice to haves. And
right.
And by the way, if there's add this on, that would be. Wow, that's a perfect boat for me.
It is, and everything with a boat falls into want. Just so we're all on the same.
There we go. Yeah. Unless some people sell their house, sell everything. Give me something to live on. I'm out of here.
They do, and I got a client that's down in Bradenton. He's out of Twin Dolphin, and they're living on their boat, and they absolutely love it. And they've lived on it for years, like 6 years now. He's been living on that boat. Yeah, so you get a little bit of both. So you don't always have to be in the house. You can just be on the houseboat. So
that's interesting.
It is. Yeah, it is. So we can help out in a variety of ways. So. With the realtors, that's we want to kind of continually reach out to them and let them know they have a way of accessing the boat sales and making boat commissions by not adding any more work to the bottom lines. If you want to look how that works, we have little packets we're going to start putting out, little informational emails. We kind of talk about how listings work, how the scripts work. We could actually educate you, go through it, and how easy it really is.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I like it. How do you want people to connect with you?
It'd be great. You could actually email me at mjohnson@DenisonYachting.com. You could also call me direct on my cell, 312-890-6385. It is a Chicago number that I dragged down here. Or you can go right to our website at DenisonYachting.com. You can search there, and you can find my bios right there, too, to reach out direct. DenisonYachting.com
is the website. Visit them online there. And we appreciate you supporting our local area expert contributors and supporting the local economy by supporting the Consumer Quarterback Show. These are the absolute best in their industries, specific industries, all types of different areas to help you become a more informed consumer. Michael Johnson, thanks so much. Appreciate you coming
thanks.
in.
It's always great joining you. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. And we want you to go out there and also consider doing something kind for one another, that random act of kindness that we always suggest. Go out there and be a force for good in the community. Just do something kind for one another. And we'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. And make sure you check us out at consumerqb.com. We'll see you next time. Have a blessed day.
You've been listening to